Underdog Fantasy is the place to play if you're a fan looking to cash in on some of your favorite athletes' performances. Available in over 30 states, including New York, California, and Texas. Just call your shot on higher or lower on 2 or more player stats for your chance to win real money. Use our promo code KFTV for up to $1,000 in bonus cash plus a free pick. So download the Underdog Fantasy app today and turn every bucket into a W. This was tough, man. Thought the beginning of the game, Detroit came out with the aggression. Good defense. Try to get out in transition. That's another one of their hallmarks of their offense. Getting out and run with those athletes, whether it's Asor or Kate Cunningham. They did a good job of doing that. But, starting in the second quarter, the Knicks started turning the tides there. You had some good play by their big two. Campaign coming off the bench, giving them a lift. Deuce. Mikal Bridges picking it up late in the second quarter, and then ultimately throughout the course of the game. And third quarter, it was just one of those ones, man. Pistons locked the Knicks up in that zone. Cade started cooking, and he scored like the first 10 points on his way to 18 in the third. And then, hey, man, you had a dogfight in the fourth quarter there where it felt like the Knicks were inching towards taking this one if they could just get a couple of stops and cut down on the mistakes, man. We don't need that. I mean, look, man, it's a ticky-tack, knick-knack thing where the ball goes off of Asar Thompson's hand. You think it's Nick Ball. Next thing you know, slow motion replay, it actually goes off of Towns' hand last. Detroit gets the basketball. Then you got the offensive foul on Karl-Anthony Towns. You didn't like that. You didn't like that one.
I did not like that one at all.
Go ahead. I understood it, but go ahead.
I get it, but with the way the game was going, you have Tobias Harris throwing bows. You have Cade with shoving off at points throughout this game. I mean, even though in the final frame, you see him using his off arm to get separation. Out of all the things you want to call a foul on, really, I'm just looking for even called games. I know it will all even out at the end of the day. I'm not blaming the refs.
Yeah.
I get it. Towns could be a little overzealous when he's setting screens. He could be a little overzealous playing defense. This is just who he is, man. And the issue is that while I don't like the call for him, I don't think it should have been called. I also know where the refs stand with Towns based on his history in the league. He can get a little, antsy, get a little go a little over the top slightly, and then the rest are like, this is you shouldn't be doing that, right?
Yeah.
Now, you didn't have to bump Thompson like that and set the screen. You can argue that.
Stupid
but I
foul,
think
man.
Just how the game was going, the flow of this game, you shouldn't have had to made that call. If this game was called a little bit tighter, I would understand it, but it wasn't that for most of this game.
Yeah, I get you just based on how the tone was for the game. It shouldn't have been called, and they let Isaiah Stewart and those guys get away with murder. I get it. But it's also one of those classic, typical, stupid Towns fouls, man. You can't do that in that spot, man. You can't put yourself at the mercy of the whistle with that. I saw it, bro. I had the volume on low, and I saw it. I said, he's going to get called. He's going to get called for offensive foul right here. You felt the impact of that screen. I said they're going to call it the other way.
I hear you. Trust me, I totally hear. In any other game, I can get behind your logic.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times. I totally hear you on that. Tonight, when I see Tobias Harris throwing bows at Brunson's face,
he got away with two. He got away with two, man.
Posting up, driving, come on, man. You're gonna call that? There's so many other things we could have gone after. Even Isaiah Stewart, who was getting a little chippy in the paint too. You saw OG getting a little frustrated. You rarely see emotion from OG after making a dunk. And look, dunks on Stewart. Has a few words to say with him. Gives him a little scowl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As I love that poster. But this game had the feeling of look, you could just feel this game had that 80s, 90s feel. The Bad Boys Pistons, the 90s Knicks. NBA wanted something like that tonight, right?
Yeah.
A little aggression.
Yeah.
So if you're going to allow that, give Towns at least some, aggression for setting the screen. That's all I'm asking for. But in any other game, sure, you're using a little too much emphasis on setting the screen, trying to get the guy thrown off a little bit. I hear you. That's Towns' MO. And if I'm Towns, you have to understand what the refs are going to call for you.
Gotta be
right?
smarter, bro. Gotta be smarter.
But tonight, man, I'm not with that. I'm not with that. Let
Yeah.
that play go, man. Let that play go.
I would love to see it. I've just seen Karl Anthony Towns get called for those things way too many times that he should be. He spoke about it early this year. He's got to be smarter. So that's just one of many breakdowns by the Knicks in that final quarter. As we said, another key story of this game was Karl Anthony Towns getting his thumb injured early in this game, wincing the entire game, but gritting it through. Maybe who knows what type of damage. Is it structural damage? Is it ligament damage? They did tape it up. And then after they taped it up, you saw when he got swiped down on his hand, like literally on the thumb to move it again. So he was clearly in bad pain. We'll see if he makes it to Philly to take on Embiid and those boys. But yeah, it's just unfortunate. We'll have to see how he pulls through.
Look, we're now officially halfway through the season.
Yeah.
We're still on pace to get over 52 wins based on where they are right now. But you're looking to be much better than right now. Defensively, they're a mess. They can't guard the three. They can't protect the rim. Wingstop has not been stopping anybody except themselves.
Yeah.
So it's a mess right now defensively. Offensively, they can be fine, but we keep coming back to the same thing. You're not going to win a lot of games. You're not going to win the ones that matter the most if you can't stop anybody, man. This Cade Cunningham was just able to get right down the lane. He started turning it on in that third quarter. 11 of the 18 points within the first 2.5 minutes once the quarter started. He was just, as Clyde would say, wheeling and dealing, slicing and dicing, man. And nobody could stop him. And then if you got to stop a guy who's capable of getting downhill and getting to anywhere 3 feet or closer to the rim, it's just going to open up everything else on the perimeter. As we saw, Malik Beasley then had, a field day knocking down threes.
Field day.
So this is the issue with this Knicks defense, man. And when you play tough teams that are young, athletic, like the Detroit Pistons, we keep seeing the same recipe. It's just difficult for the Knicks to keep up with. For as great as an offensive team they are, defensively, this is just, it's alarming.
Well, I think at the end of the day, Cat at the 5 is not a sustainable thing going like long term defensively.
This is why the Timberwolves put him at the 4.
This is why they
got
put him
Rudy
at the
Gobert.
4. Him and Brunson are sitting ducks on the defense. They're the two weakest links. They're the two players that every team goes at in crunch time situations, as you saw here tonight. They had to put 2 on the ball. You question why they put 2 on the ball. Well, me personally, I think Cade would have ate him up. That's what I think. Help or no help. I can't afford to leave Jalen Brunson out there on an island. That's just me personally. If you saw another play in that fourth quarter execution with Cade, he drew contact. They ran empty side pick and roll, toss it, little pitch and catch with Isaiah Stewart, and which was a great play because you don't allow OG to get around the screen. So they get Cade going downhill. Gets around the screen, draws a foul on Karl Anthony Towns. These guys are getting targeted every single time, possession after possession after possession. Cat at the 5 is not going to be a sustainable option. Does Mitch save things this year? Probably not. But I think going forward, they're going to have to readjust that. It's not going to work, bro.
So
long term, it's not going to work.
Mitch coming back, is he in the starting rotation then?
I don't think Tibbs does it yet. I don't think he does it yet.
But we're seeing this right now, man. We're seeing it play out. 41 games. At some point, this is more than a sample size. This is just who they are. So if Mitchell Robinson comes back, whether or not he starts, if you want to get out to a fast offensive start, you're gonna have to play Mitch next to Cat for a good portion of that game, and hope that Mitch stays healthy. All right. Because, you got to at least have something. The reason why these teams were good the last 2 years, even with Brunson out there, he tries hard defensively. Not a great defender, but whether it was Isaiah Hartenstein or Mitchell Robinson, you knew that even if you got past Brunson, you were meeting a solid defender at the rim. So that was a deterrent at least. Yeah. You don't have a deterrent. And this is why we're just seeing the Knicks get eaten up alive. Any good team that can work the half court, that can get out in transition, it's going to be a tough time for them, man.
be
This
a tough
Detroit
time.
Pistons team is similar to the Houston Rockets as we saw at the beginning of the year.
In Tips We Trust on the Discord. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
CP.
How you doing, man? What's your name? Where you calling it from?
You heard me from before. I've been in here. I'm a Thibs supporter.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you to do me a favor.
Yeah.
Just bear with me here because I'm trying to keep my emotions in check. You hear me?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Right.
only sports, so you should no need to get emotional.
Nah, it's emotional, man. We Knicks fans. We gotta be
Yeah.
emotional. That's what we've been bred on.
Okay.
We've been 2 decades of terrible nonsense. Give me a chance to be emotional.
Sure.
I'm gonna say something real quick. We lost tonight, and I get it. But for all those that are on the Thibs firing truck, just do me a favor and understand my man is dealing with a team that he has never coached before. This man has adjusted his offensive setting to replicate what the league is looking for to be successful, and he has done a great job at it. I think the Knicks fans in this day and age have missed the fact that the team that we had last year is not the team that we have this year.
Okay.
So when we take a look at these two teams, you have to give them a chance to gel. It is not the same team. We are not the same defensive effort. We do not have the same depth. But what we do have is superior talent on the offensive level. And so with that said, if you take a look at the team's record in this year of 2024 to 2025 season versus the 2023 to 2024 season, we are winning more games now than we have ever before. So as Knicks fans, I get it. We have to understand that, yes, championship or bust, that's our understanding. But we have to take the wins when we get it. And so the bigger impact that I will share with everyone, I shared this on the last time I called into you, CP. And I appreciate everything you guys do. You send a message on some real talk, you are real about it. And that's why it's the fans by the fans. That's where we at. It's real talk. This team is going to build its defensive effort as we earn our pieces back. Deuce has just gotten to us. Mitch ain't even here yet. And for everybody that thinks this Mitch is expendable, I'm going to just drop a knowledge before I dip out of here. And I ain't going to take too much more time. The Western Conference Finals sat with the Minnesota Timberwolves with Rudy Gobert as the center and Cat as the power forward. It is possible, my friends. Give Mitchie no snitchy a chance, my friend. Give them a chance. The Knicks are coming. You got to give them an opportunity. Thibs is the absolute #1 defensive coach in this league. Do not question him. And better than yet, the best defensive coach from the 90s that's mad old school, he's the best to adjust to the new league.
Okay.
In Thibs, we trust.
That's
KnicksFanTV, subscribe. You know the deal.
Appreciate the.
Thank you, CP.
Yes, sir. Appreciate the support, man. Rate that call in the chat. Rate that call in the chat, man. 1 being trash, 5 being facts. In Tips We Trust on the Discord. They saying I'm handpicking the callers tonight, Al. They said I'm handpicking them. I don't know these people. I just, shout out to everybody on the Discord. I'm just, loading them up. I'm just conducting it.
Hey, man. They don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I did not send the assassins. I didn't send them.